Hi, hello. It's good to see you again. I'm so excited for today. We left off at a very interesting point. So I'm excited to see the new kinds of mechanics that we're gonna have in store. Let's see where it saved last. Fingers crossed. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. Marcus, no, it's absolutely normal to think fangs on girls are sexy. I am not immune either, my friend. I mean, who would want to be immune to that? Let's be real. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be. But compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely had the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and, you suspect, same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? Come, Emma. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods, and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse as she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly, even you feel drawn to her. Awe time, awe time. I'm just super excited that we've got some awe here, because that is definitively how I play my character. I've got a problem? Awe. You unfurl it like a crimson carpet set out before you. I love it. I love it so much. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Yes, get it. Oh God, I love this skill set. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Emma. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods toward the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. She cute though. I like her. Look at her kitty tattoo. It's a space kitty, a little astronaut baby. I love it. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're I mean that, you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. Oh. Yeah, I feel like at this point in our journey, we're not quite certain that people are like, what is it, DTB, down to bite? What, are you, into this sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, nods. Could you, if you like, Miss Langley tells me she swallows hard, avoids your eyes. Oh! That I taste nice. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully we have a way to, like, be gentle and only drink, like, 1 point of vitae. And we have the mechanic. We have the mechanic that we have to control our hunger and be mindful because we can get into certain situations that will trigger it. And I'm concerned. I don't know our current level. I know we tried to find some blood in the fridge last night in our apartment, and there wasn't any. So, safe rather than sorry? We're going to be the gentlest. You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms that nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink. And drink. Buddy, you better not. And drink. Stop. No. Stop. You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures, almost as if by instinct. You lick them clean, and the 2 holes become concealed, just like that. That was too close for comfort. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy. She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt. Tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs? please? My dad, he doesn't know. He thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yeah, she's pretty. Maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you. But we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with, Emma. Wow, that's it. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. The girl's exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. I think this is a more pressing matter because it's going to govern how we feed in the future. I think she knows who we are. That's not normal, right? It's not usual. That much is true. But don't worry. She will do anything I tell her to, and won't say anything to anyone that I haven't put in her pretty head first. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. I think this one. Asking about awe, because maybe we can then wield it. Those people back at the oil, they were all entranced. Even I was under your spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That'll trick. Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. So, you have certain disciplines that are innate to your clan, and then if you're taught those from outside of your clan, like, for instance, what's one that's definitively, like, at least in Requiem, Nightmare is a Nos thing, right? That's not for the Deva/Toreador. So if you wanted to learn that, you would TLDR have to get a Nos to teach you. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world and in greater detail than some kindred. That must be aspects. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace. And more. Celerity? All of these skills make me who I am. And they also help me hunt. Yeah. What are mine? Okay, so what are my talents? Time will tell. You need to discover them yourself. When we arrive, experiment. Give different things a try. Follow your instinct and intuition. It will guide the blood. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however. It's all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and time. It only takes you a half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. The stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim. Just one. And then come back. Seeing how she seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work. But focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby. And worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis courts nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a little late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. Oh shit. Sophie told us to find a specific victim. I think if we hunt near the decrepit pavilion, we're going to be preying on people I don't want to bother. That just feels bad. Tennis courts obviously presents the issue of having a partner that you're playing with. So let's look for a victim around the park. Somebody that strikes our fancy. You start walking. The park's many avenues must hold a good spot or two for a predator like yourself. You pass 2 soccer fields and circle around where the Fountain of the Planets once awed visitors with its spectacle, before coming across an opportunity. A woman, a small duffel bag on her arm, is making her way through the park in a hurry. She doesn't seem to have noticed you yet. Oh no. Okay, so if we use the Ankh, we're using the ability Presence, which, for me, in Vampire, the Requiem, translates to Majesty. So what are we focusing her presence, or focusing her attention on? On us? So I'm gonna try to use that. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall. How she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person? It could be doable. For a moment, you're thinking how an old guy in a hood should appear over your shoulder saying, "Use the Force, Emma." It feels ridiculous. But then, something stirs within you. There's a confidence there, an allure that you might have had before, but one that's increased manifold in this moment. Oh, I hate this. You catch the woman's eye. She flashes an unsure smile, almost in spite of herself, as she passes you by. Yep, because if you're a lady walking through a park and there's a stranger looking at you, you're just gonna awkward, nervous smile and try to get the fuck out as fast as possible. Oh, I hate this. I wish it wasn't a woman. Oh, I hate this. Oh god, I hate it. This is the least. This triggers the least alarm bells for me, at least. Wait, please. She's tense, gripping her bag close, but attentive. Her eyes lock onto yours. The slight smile is there again. Yes? What is it? Almost intuitively, you close the distance between you two. She can't look away. She's unprepared for what follows. In a swift move, you grab her and bite down. Her surprise resonates in her blood. Hot, excited, fast-flowing. She tenses up, then relaxes. The duffel bag hits the ground. Bliss. Footsteps. You let go of her. She drops to the ground, barely conscious. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. I mean, yeah, that's the appropriate response to this. Oh, different. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Barging into my turf like this, lick. So, Vampire the Masquerade is the first time I've really been exposed to the term lick. It's not really a term in Requiem, so I had to, like, learn through context what it meant by watching New York by Night. Yeah, I'm sure we have no idea what that means. What did you call me? A lick? What is that supposed to mean? Don't be cute with me. I know who you are. Shove that masquerade bullshit up your ass. Better tell me who you're with before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you. Oh. Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. I came here with Sophie Langley. She's my patron. Doesn't ring a bell. Fancy, though. He licks his lips, exposing his fangs and looking at you voraciously. What? Oh, are we doing this? A nervous tick, or an attempted intimidation. I wonder, what would Callahan do to you if I brought you in, huh? Break your shins? Leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Oh, concrete shoes maybe. He's an old school like that. Ooh! Let's use celerity. We're using... Oh, we just fed, so we've got enough, hopefully, to deal with this. Ooh. You take off. Fast. Faster than you've ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but howls behind you like an animal and gives chase anyway. Oh no! As you reach the Unisphere again, you slow down, noticing two people near the entrance. A man and a woman, tangled in a passionate embrace. Is it Sophie? No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. But this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. That's how it's done. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, Emma, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. You thought you could run away from me, Lick? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket. and slams it into the thug's chest. Gregory! Gregory came prepared! Just like that. In a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see you've made a friend, Emma. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? Yeah, ooh. Yeah, all of these are valid and relevant, but I think this is going to answer her question the best. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, and then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anarch, then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the staked vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight. And you're quite happy you're not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away. But then you remember that Sophie's been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online. It fills you with dread. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. Oh, we're already done here? I will pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to, Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. What's gonna happen to him? The usual, I imagine. Interrogation by Kadir, probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial, with the prince in attendance if she's there tomorrow night. A swift execution as the verdict. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, like, that's not exactly what I wanted to do here. Like, I didn't want to die or get taken back to whoever this dude's talking about, but I'm not sure I'm down to murder him. Not that I have to do it personally, but I'm involved in this more than I would like to be. This all sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow night. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope? I'll need time to get used to this. It doesn't come naturally. It will, with time. You need to think about it less. Hunting is the one scenario in which you'll do well to trust your instincts. In moderation, of course. She seems distracted, not all there. Her thoughts drift, and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We will pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory, with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past? Unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take time to process. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak, or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door. A moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time, you turn off the lights. You think back to Julie. How many people in this city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park, if he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list instead of adding to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms, like an old friend. Cool. You open your eyes. It's pitch dark here. The blackness of a coffin, drifting in the abyss. Oh, right. The light. You grasp for the switch. Flip it. The familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows comes into view. You emerge from the bedroom fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie is waiting for you, comfortably seated on the sofa in your living room space, a book in her hand. The Melancholy of Resistance. The title is sure on brand. Good evening, Emma. Good evening, Sophie. I hope you rested well. Tonight will be quite eventful, I think. Come, we have an appointment. I received word Alicia would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. She keeps talking as you walk downstairs and get in the car. Gregory gives you a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car when you take your seat in the back. Most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there, at least those who usually attend. Probably some other important personalities you do well to at least learn about. Anyone I should talk to when we arrive? Not especially. My advice would be to try to talk to the prince and perhaps reassure her of your gratefulness for being spared. And maybe talk to Kadir on the same topic if you get a hold of him. The Primogen I would advise against. They're rather stuck-up, all told. And if they will talk to you, they might try to secure you for some nefarious purpose. And I wouldn't appreciate that. Of course, be respectful if anyone approaches you and strikes up a conversation. You will no doubt be gossiped about, as will I. Keep a cool head. Some enjoy provoking fledglings into stupid acts. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Don't tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved you. She might be protecting and teaching you. But it is clear what she's really concerned about. Her own interests. You step into the art hole with something of a bad memory. The last time you were here, your entire world had been turned upside down, and your existence nearly ended. But tonight, there's very little outward hostility. Yes, Kadir gives you a look that's definitely intended to remind you of your place. But the prince, also in attendance, seems pleased to see you. Welcome, Sophie, Emma. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand there is somebody else you wish to present to the court tonight. Yes, Prince. They will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, plainly. The prince gives Kadir a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness. He's in a particularly foul mood tonight. Something to do with Emma's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ooh, that must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of your sire makes you feel a pang of emotion again. Whoever he was, he left a lasting impression, one reinforced with your visit to the show space last night. That's the past. Right now, though, you're back in the gallery and are reminded of your sister instead. Emma frequents this place. Is she aware of these clandestine meetings after dark? The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks you out of your thoughts. Gregory enters the room, the jumpsuit-clad inert vampire still staked on his shoulder. The show's about to start. Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadir. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his heart. The captive's eyes flicker to life, and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours. Keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Oh! Kadir steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. Why, who do we have here? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit, no. Come on, don't. Silence. The sheriff takes on an aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature that's out to get you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in terror. The beast inside you shrieks, and you could swear it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests here tonight. Ooh, he's flexing his beast! It's unlike anything you've experienced in his company during your turbulent first night as a vampire. He really did go easy on you, all things considered. It seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into a fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me, man, don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs, at the prince's discretion. Please, go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up. Let's go. He doesn't wait for a confirmation. He just grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming, out of the room. Conversations start all around you, some whispered, some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. Wow. Yeah. Oof. So what happens now? it'll be at least some minutes before Kadir gets the information he seeks out of this thug. Why not mingle when we wait for him to break? Excuse me. Sophie leaves your side and goes to a corner of the gallery where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, gathered. A concierge offers you a drink. Still warm. It smells nice. Just a sip to start you off. A splash over your palate, coating your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Nourishment. You're left to your own devices. You have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that you recall seeing here those few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her. Their conversation seems to be casual. A loud, shrill laugh turns your attention to the bespectacled man who you saw with Sophie on the night of your judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up different patrons. You feel somebody's eyes on you. A casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column, watching you. He turns his gaze away sheepishly when he realizes that you've noticed. Yeah. We were told to talk to the prince, but I don't want to interrupt her. I'm sure this man will get to us because he's making his rounds. So, I'm gonna take a page from Isaac Brooks' book, who's playing a 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶 in the New York by Night. There was an individual who he was clearly making uncomfortable, and so he just walks right up and talks to her. There's something about this guy. It's not that he's staring at you. Most everybody in this room has, at one point or another. It's how he does it. He seems shy, maybe even afraid. It's hard to find a secluded spot in the gallery tonight, but this guy has an entire corner of the room all to himself. Is he Nas, maybe? As you approach, he's standing alone with no glass in hand, a worried look on his face. Yeah, let's be polite. Good evening, Mr. Larson. Or you can call me Robert. Either's fine. I think it's kind of rude to ask him while he's standing here by himself. These two can easily be explained away because we're a baby. So, who are you? You mean like, generally? A vampire? Same as you? Although I might not quite look it. Oh no! We weren't supposed to talk to the Primogen. I am one of Prince Panhardt's Primogen. I'm here on business in case the prince requires my insight. Malkavian. Usually it's so she can hear me out before ignoring me. Not sure if you were paying attention the other night, but when the prince mentioned diverging opinions on whether you should be executed or not, that was me. I was a diverging opinion. Yeah, let's thank him. That's huge. Thank you. Even if it didn't change the prince's mind. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I'm trying to give him kind of a nervous, shy feel. Listen, I don't want to be rude, but I appreciate you reaching out, but word of advice? Stay away from me. Malkavian. So Malkavian can read minds, and that makes a lot of vampires very wary of them. That's my theory so far. Many vampires in this sect regard my position as Primogen to be some kind of joke, you know? You talk to me, they'll notice, and they'll hold it against you. You have a quick look behind you and see that a few of the kindred keep shooting you curious glances. One woman in particular, a redhead, boasting a fanciful hairstyle that's not Sophie, apparently, watches you disapprovingly. Some of them already do, I imagine. Excuse me, I need to try to get a word in with a few private gym members before 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶 returns. Enjoy your night. With just the critical looks of a few kindred to keep you company, you start thinking about who to pursue next. You notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her element and not to be disturbed. 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶 hasn't come back yet, so you can probably still find time for at least one conversation. She told us to talk to the prince, so we're going to say thank you to the prince. You approach the prince, trying to stay as respectful of her private conversation as possible. She glances at you as you step forward, her scrutinizing gaze mimicked by her companion. She addresses the dark-skinned woman before turning to you. Oh, Samira, like from League of Legends. Excuse me for a moment, Samira. Yes, Emma? What is it? Yeah, we're doing exactly what we're told. I wish to thank you for sparing me, Prince. I realize it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation. How thoughtful of you. She takes a long look at you before she continues. I didn't do it from the kindness of my beating heart. You're an asset to Miss Langley, to the Camarilla, and to me. I believe I made the right decision. Prove to me and the other kindred of this city that it was so. And there might be more to your future nights than just survival and servitude. The dark-skinned woman looks impatiently at you, ooh, and catches the prince's attention. Forgive me, that's all the time I can spare right now. We have some things to discuss with Samira still. Enjoy your night, Emma. Yep, just bow and leave. You leave the two women to their conversation, which they get back to almost immediately after the prince turns to Samira. A loud exchange through the staircase grabs everybody's attention. 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶 is back, and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes the other vampire inside the room. Oh, the vampire that threatened you last night is a mess. That stupid hat is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in welcome shadow. He's barely conscious. His shin is broken, you think? There's something protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but clearly a whole lot of hurt. Well, 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶, did our guest cooperate? Tell the prince your name. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? The Midnighters. An anarch coterie, my prince. Active for some time now, though from what this one told me, the name is about the only legacy the group has kept over the years. I see. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't... A loud crack makes some of the guests audibly gasp as 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶's slap dislocates the man's jaw. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and claiming a domain without the prince's approval. That alone would be enough to pass swift judgment. But he is also anarch scum. My prince? There can be only one verdict. Final death. Do your duty, Sheriff. Unless, of course... Oh, why are you throwing shade? I did everything I was supposed to. Somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan like our dear Miss Langley a few nights ago. The prince serves you and Sophie. The look the prince serves you and Sophie is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under yours in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes for the window. Oh. Yeah, this isn't our business. I'm not going to use any more blood because I don't know where I stand right now. I fed twice and then used abilities twice, so I'm not going to continue to roll the dice. It's not my job. Nobody's expecting that of me. You have a feeling Howard's efforts are fruitless. Just a few seconds later, that feeling is confirmed. He almost reaches the window. Almost. But not quite. In what seems like the blink of an eye, Kadir appears first, near his scabbard sword in one corner of the gallery, and then next to the escaping anarch on the opposite side of the room. The next moment, Howard's head flies off his body, baseball cap free. His lifeless body crumbles to the ground and begins to decompose in real time. It's an uncanny sight. As always, our sheriff does not fail to impress. I would like to thank Miss Langley for bringing this anarch thug to my and Kadir's attention. I assume all have found the verdict satisfactory. It's a rhetorical question, and everyone here knows it. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room, and you see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. You probably have the time to strike up a conversation of your own, too. Kadir, a la Esmai, is still here, for one, but clearly getting ready to leave. Larson is still moping about, and the other man you noticed before Kadir brought the anarch in is still chatting with the remaining attendants. We're supposed to go and thank Kadir. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved, so you decide you won't get a better shot at saying your piece. He's just seizing a sword as you approach him. He notices you just before his face turns from a melancholic frown back to his regular predatory smirk. You seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. What is it, Emma? Yeah, let's be thankful. I wanted to thank you for bringing me in one piece, for giving me a chance. An emotion creeps onto Kadir's face that you haven't seen the sheriff exhibit yet. Is that gratitude? It's fleeting. Only there for a moment, and then gone in the blink of an eye. It was trying on my nerves, and you were still far and away from proving that it was the right thing to do. So don't think that a few kind words will let you off the hook. I wonder, how does it feel to bring a lamb to the slaughter the way you did tonight? Do you feel any remorse? Regret? I'm going to enjoy guessing. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. I was wondering if you could tell me something about Sophie. She talks a lot about the Camarilla and other things, but I barely know anything about her. Oh, I can tell you something about Sophie. Some things she wouldn't want you to hear. Like the fact she's manipulative and vindictive. But then again, which of us kindred aren't? You want to know more about Sophie's past? Ask her. She's unlikely to tell you the truth, though. I'm quite sure she never told me. Despite our previous history. Previous history? That's what we do, fledgling. We exist for centuries, and we lie. To our families, our friends, our lovers, to our kindred, sires and childer, to ourselves. He picks up the sword and turns towards the stairs. Good night. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'll be sure to keep a close eye on you. With that final threat, he leaves the gallery. It's right about when Sophie also ends her conversation and walks over to you. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come, Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something, and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time, you arrive at another building, just 2 streets across from your apartment. She brings you upstairs, through a very nice lobby and a luxurious-looking hall, into her domain. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take in your surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old-school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, and a nouveau riche's living room, meticulously combined together. Apologies. Old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out. Breathes. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh, is she blushing for this? Oh, yes, you might not know. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you like. Other things, too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I didn't bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back? The bedroom. Similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards, in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. I have your interests in mind, too. That's why I've given you your own haven. Why I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something. When you're in trouble, too. Though, I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. Oh. Yeah, why can't we discuss it right now? Why not talk about it right now, since we're here together? I still need to follow up on a few things before I speak. Patience, fledgling? That silence again. There's definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip, a promise that you'll show up tomorrow, and some polite goodbyes later. You open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. It's exciting, in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into this secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you, it's bound to teach you more about this thing you've become. You sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. Nice. Nice. I feel like these nights are kind of short, though. But I guess they're just having a lot more spare time, maybe? Like, downtime here. Because he was talking about doing a lot of TV watching and then, like, not wanting to read a book or watch TV. Or maybe I'm just not taking into consideration how long the downtime during events are. Although it didn't seem like we were at the gallery for that long. Maybe there is just a lot of chill time at home.
Kicked in your teeth again.
You want my help?
So,
Moderate my
no,
cam show.
I get.
Well, they'll not. So you
I'm still sorry,
understand.
but I mean, I
had my
feel
doubts,
some
but
responsibility. It's why I'm.
Perhaps we are of shared lineage.
You know how important
after
our blood
all.
is, and how
God
hard it
damn, I
is to
love
kind of
the
come by
Tory
that. So.
Thanks for watching. For more content, you can check out these videos, or my stream on Twitch, or my reaction content on TikTok. All the links are in the description. Have a great rest of your day.